turn the light on if I don't have to. I was like, no. Okay, you win. Artificial light. How's everybody doing? Okay. So, what's new, everyone? Howdy, partners. Hey, what's up? Yup. Crypto jazz rolling on in. Sorry, I got a crap load of messages on my phone. So hi everyone, today we're going to talk about water. Hello, nice to meet you. My name's Michael. I am a spiritual channel and ascension guide and life coach, essentially. And today we're going to talk about the water element in regards to its efficacies, its shortcomings, let's call them that, and its interrelationship with everything in the world. So if you're a water sign, or if you notice anything similar, with anything that I'm saying, please feel free to ask if you have any questions, but see how much you resonate, because essentially we all have water in us no matter what. The understanding is, we're microcosms of the macrocosm, Earth and the universe, right? So we have water is our blood, earth is our skin and our stomachs, and then fire is in the heart. We did fire last week, so I thought water would be appropriate for today. The wood element and the wind element is in your liver, and then, I don't have to say them all because we're focused on water today. So, but then the lungs are your air element, and wind, lungs comes up, sinks down. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm getting sidetracked. There's a lot to learn about Tai Chi theory and stuff, so I'm really excited to talk about water today. I'm sweating. I don't know why. It's because I'm starting to channel. Hey, you. With 13 sign-up figures coming in, I am up. Oh, is that right? Good, so you might benefit from this water. There's definitely a tone in your voice that says water sometimes, but that's my interpretation. Perhaps I have an eye for these sorts of things. So today, water, right? So let's get started. So I put calming water. Last week it was focusing fire, because what does fire need? It needs to focus. And, it needs to burn things away, but what it needs to burn is all the BS that it comes in. So you need to focus your fire, breathe it all into your sacred fire, and light it all up and burn through all of the stuff that you don't need, right? So today I figured water would be appropriate. It's kind of the destructive cycle. I mentioned it, so I don't want to go too in depth into the destruction and creation cycles, but I mentioned it before, so we will talk creation cycle in this. Well, I'll have to say it for water. So metal carries water, and then because water gives earth, or gives life to wood, it's like, I'm a wood rat, so I love water signs, and then I'm like 40% water anyways, then I'm an air sign, blah, blah, blah. So I relate a lot of this stuff, and I've done it my whole life, so hopefully I can explain some of that here. But what water needs is it needs to be calm. Under the ocean, it might look calm, or like way deep down, but the currents are running, and they're running hard, and they're running fast in certain places. But we've all seen that really calm place of water, right? So water douses fire, is the destruction cycle. Earth absorbs water, would be the destruction of water, and then the creation is the metal. Metal supports water. So, fire signs like wood signs, what's the next one? Earth likes fire signs, because earth is very still, fire is very passionate. So all of this is part of the creation cycle. And then metal, it chops wood, so it's the destruction cycle, and so it's all interrelated. So in this case, we're going to talk about calming water. And water is about emotions, right? Still waters run deep, okay? So on the surface, if you ever met a water sign, you can sort of always tell a depth. You can feel like the ocean inside of a water sign. They might be quiet, they could be reserved or something, but they're very, very like, it's passion, but it's, the emotional, it's the receptive side. So it's the feminine aspect. So what we need to do for water is calm it. Effectively, everything needs to be calmed, or it needs to be taken out of its too much yin, where it's too calm, and you need to kind of fire it up. And that's what fire does for water, right? And then water cools the fire and helps the fire, relax. What is it? Usually April 1st. Oh, you're April 1st, huh? Dude, jokes, jokes. Yes, your voice is. And so I wanted to get into the details, and I wanted us all to really understand these things that are emotions, that are passions, that are really deep down inside of us. They're boiling up to the surface, especially now with all the heightened energy. So I wanted to talk about the importance of calming water. Water needs substance. Water is substance, right? So being an air sign, water is really interesting to me. And I think that's my wood aspect, because when I shower, I channel like crazy. It's insane. Anytime I'm by water, in water, or anything like that. So being an air sign, it's interesting because I can, on the surface, I can blow wind and then it'll create a lot of waves, right? Or, calm and then it doesn't. But underneath, there's not something that air signs like would never be able to touch. You know what I mean? So water is very, very deep, as we all know, but what they need is they need substance. They need, water flows through everything, and it's constantly moving, and it's constantly, so earth signs, being that they absorb water, can be very helpful for those who have too much emotions and too much of this stuff, right? So you can look towards the elements. So water, ground yourself, right? So many emotions. Oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. What do you got to do? You got to ground yourself. Now, all signs need to ground themselves, but it's different in that respect. Know your sign, know what it is that you're running into in that current place, and then do that. Make that sound. So, ironically enough, the sound of water is the Choooo sound, Choo. Literally sounds like water crashing on the beach or into the rocks. So that one's really funny. So don't please take it seriously, because it's really the sound of it. It's the vibration. So fire is ha. It's HA. You make the ha, ha, and you can hear the heat coming from sound, right? So oh my god, I'm sweating so much right now. Oh my god, I'm gonna open the window. I'm taking my shirt off. One of the two. Oh god, it would be stuck. No. I'm sweating buckets. This is stupid. Alright. So many jokes. Good. Jokes are good. Laughing is always good. What was I saying? So water. So emotions, right? Very important, especially now because of everything that's coming up in the world. So everybody's got... Okay, I can't help it. Okay, it's really freaking hot. I'm just gonna go get the whole gallon downstairs, a 5-gallon jug. Okay, so what do we want to say? What do you guys want to say? I know you had a lot about water. I barely wrote anything down because they just wanted to swarm me. Emotions, calming waters, right? So use the elements that are near to you, whatever it is. So water, metal. Metal are the types of people who are very analytically minded and very structured, right? Metal, sharp. Okay. I actually know a friend whose husband, total metal sign, like holy cow. And she's a water sign, interesting enough, right? It's perfect. But that's the rub, is you have to, one sign can get the creation sign behind them, but then behind that sign, who's the creation sign behind them, right? So it's really understanding the nature of the rhythm of the movements within your own body, okay? So fire is in the heart, and we talked about this last week, you make the ha sound, and it heats up. Or if you need to exhale heat, you make the ha sound, and it's really hot. It's why when you blow or when you breathe to like wipe a mirror or a window, you go ah, and the heat, the HA sound creates heat, and it will expel the heat out of your body, your organs, whatever part of your body has heat, and depending on your awareness of your body, you'll be able to move chi with your body in and out. So water, okay, the chew sound, it's actually the kidneys. So it makes a lot of sense why I'm connected to that, because being a Libra, I rule the kidneys and the lower back. So it's interesting when you think about it all. Air sign, but we rule the water element. I don't know. There's so much, right? And the best thing you can do is understand yourself. Understand how water affects you. Understand what your emotions are. Understand the difference between your fire and your water. Because if you can understand those two things and you can combine them properly, it's creation right there. And that's how you do internal alchemy and Neidan and all those practices where you can heat your organs and you can evaporate and you can create effort. You can evaporate all the issues in your life. Your outer and your inner all start from how you feel on the inside, right? So with the chew sound, you want to stretch the kidneys. So with ha, you're exhaling. The heart is radiant and it radiates out, and you can radiate it into yourself and heat the water. So when you heat your kidneys get cold and you freeze up in fear. That's why you freeze, and that's why, and your kidneys are your batteries of your body, so you always have to keep them warm. In the winter time, many of the Taoist monks and practitioners, anyone, just even inside the house, they wear belts around their waist to keep their kidneys warm just at all times in the middle of winter, because you can run out, you can get stale. Like, what can metal do? Metal can carry water, and that's why metal supports water, but metal can also lift up on both sides and keep the water in the middle and let it go stagnant, at which point you have to flow. When you're frozen and you're stagnant, you have to use fire with the ha sound and bring it down and bring all that heat and all the excitement and all the anger or frustration or whatever you have for the world. You suck it all in with your fire, and then when you exhale it internally to yourself, and it'll go. And imagine, there's a lot of practices. This is all internal alchemy. It's a whole thing, but this is the gist. So you breathe into your fire, and it will release the fears that you have. Very important. Fear. Kidneys. Now, fear can be anywhere. Any element can be in any part of your body. You have to know your body, and you have to know the elements. I say this all the time in my videos. If you know yourself, then everything else becomes easy, because you know what you're willing to do, you know what you're willing to not do, you know what your boundaries with others are, right? So hopefully we're creating healthy boundaries. All of this new age stuff that's coming out, this is going to be really important. And fear being the main driving force of why everything is so crazy in the world, and why you're stressed out, and why you're mad, right, is like all of these things about fear that it's not going to work out this way, fear that it's not going to work out that way. So it's locking you up, and it's keeping your batteries, your body's batteries, frozen. And what happens to a cold battery? Well, it runs out of juice, it dies. Put it on, or put a battery on the ground, and it'll just ground right out, right? Which is good. Earth grounding for water if it needs to, but not too long, because then it's got nothing, and then that's when you can kick up the fire again. Oh my god, I need to know this. Good. I'm glad you. Okay. Well, I can talk forever on this stuff. I'm trying to keep it structured. Good. I'm glad. Kidneys. Oh, I got you. Don't worry. I'm the kidney man. I'm the kidney guy. In my hands, I can. This is your Lao Gong point. It's where your middle finger. Some say it's where your ring finger goes, but it depends on your energy and it depends on what you access most of all. But there's a point right here. That's why Reiki works. So hands. Yeah. Water is. Let's see. Let's see what they want to say about water. Fear. Yeah, fear. You want to stay on fear. They want to stay on fear. You know, it's funny. They want me to say who it was. I had the naiads come through, and then I said, "Wait, you mean like mermaids?" They're like, and I was like Ursula, and then I said, "Is Ursula even a real person? Because isn't she a cartoon? But because we create it, it's real, right?" And so I was like, "Are you real?" And she lit my kidneys up. So even if it's not Ursula, whoever you are, that shit was cool. And my kidneys got really hot. Maybe that's why I'm sweating. What did you do? It's better now that the window's open. So yeah, color blue. The season is winter. The animal is the bear because the bear hibernates in winter. It uses its reserve kidney energy. The movements, which I'll eventually have up on somewhere for you guys to watch, is the bear. You're a bear. You're a big Kodiak grizzly or whatever you want to be, and and nobody fucks with a bear. So fear. Think of that. Fear. Think of a bear. Fearless. You don't want to have fear ever. Otherwise, all it's going to do is make you hesitate. And hesitation's okay. It's not, in certain situations, as long as if you're reading the situation and you're like, wait, whoa, that might have been a good move, but, use that word hesitation, but, yeah. Fire burns through and goes forward and it burns everything down on the way and then you got to pick up the pieces or you got to rebuild. So that's why you want to burn the fire within yourself and then send it to your kidneys. If you guys can just learn from fire and water, you'll heal your entire body, organs, structures, everything. When you can create, it's like Wim Hof, right? And I think I mentioned him because he was doing fire the other time. He jumps in the water. He turns the water up temperature. He melts ice. I mean, well, we don't melt ice, but you know what I mean? Like, that's fire. And so he's integrating with water. And so as long as he keeps jumping in that water, he's going to be okay and he won't burn himself out. So the understanding behind that, and I've said this before, fire goes up your spine, right? It's why your kundalini rises. And this is typical. It's not exclusive, but it's typical, right? So when you breathe, when you inhale, it comes from your perineum, between your legs, and it goes up your spine, and you can feel it. Just inhale, and then once it gets to the crown of your head, you have to bring it down and make sure with water. Let water fall, right? Let it flow and let it come down. Now they say women are more receptive in the conception channel. It's the governor channel, governor, male, fire, yang, and then conception, creation, right, creativity and receptivity, all of that. What happens, I've said this before, if you just keep going up, you're going to burn out your adrenals, and that's what's happened to people. And one guy, what he had to do to come back down, he actually started to eat red meat because it grounded him. So the Taoist understanding, so there's a lot of yoga out there, there's a lot of teachings, there's all kinds of stuff. I'll give you a brief history. So the Western or the Eastern China, water-based, fire-based is America, because we're nuts, right? We're so much passion, we don't even know what to do with it, right? It's not even balanced. But we're fire. Our gods are in the sky. Fire gods, right? From space, father, right? Fire, yang, receptivity, earth, mother. So in the West, or so in the Eastern, they're very water-based, right? They eat a lot of fish, I guess, especially Japan, it's surrounded by water, but as the teachings moved west into Tibet and then further into Egypt and Europe and Middle East and it got over, it became Tibetan Buddhism. Now before Buddhism was Confucianism, and before Confucianism was Taoism, and then Shaolin and all that stuff. Excuse me. So as it started to go west, it started to become more dominate the world, you know what I mean? Roman Catholic stuff, you know what I mean? It started to integrate with all of this other stuff. So in this way, you know, they live longer. They say, you know, Chinese people live longer. I don't know, is that racist? I'm sorry. Is that really a thing? I don't know. I think we all agree on it, but is it really true? But it's because they have that understanding of the water, of creation, of, you know, life, and instead of believing in gods that are just up in the sky and they're all mental and theological and philosophically based, you know, theirs are the deities. They worship Buddha, they worship Lao Tzu and Confucius, you know, they worship their emperors and the great people. They're much, you know, people often wonder about like Tai Chi and all this stuff and is it real, or, you know, and it's extremely practical. It's been around for 7,000 years. Like, it's been around longer than whatever you're learning. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I don't know, but it's been around long enough. So, obviously they know something. That's why I always quote, or I always say Buddha. Buddha was meditated in a cave for 9 years. I mean, what, for fun? No, it wasn't for fun. He was figuring, get away from me. Leave me alone. I'll be back in 9 years, you know. Okay. Have fun. Okay, you know, and he's like, we love Buddha. No one, I was telling Sarah the other day, no one ever hears Buddha and goes, man, that guy. Yeah, Buddha. Who the hell is that guy? Like, what is he talking about? No, everyone loves Buddha. There's a reason, right? Because he wasn't hurting nobody. Oh my gosh. Oh. Yeah. It might be. That's funny. You've been having dreams of bears? Maybe you do. I'll send you some kidney. I'll do some Reiki a little bit later. I'll send you a boost. Yeah, so what else? What else? Water. How to learn its properties. Learn that what does water do? It flows and it crashes. Look up Bruce Lee, right? He can tell you all day long. But it, you know, pour it into a cup, it becomes the cup. It's the same as air. You know, there are very few things that water and air cannot penetrate or cannot get into, right? So as an air sign, I can relate to water signs in the fact that very much lots of emotions scattered, you know, and if you don't, for air, you have to breathe it in and you have to hold it in your lungs, you know, and so for water, you gotta warm your kidneys so that they're not in fear. Is that it? I feel like I said that already. Fear. There's all kinds of fear, right? There's aggression and anger, there's fire, there's water, there's receptivity. And this is the fear of loneliness. This will bring up the yin worries, okay? Where you feel lackluster, where you feel low on energy, and you feel, you know, and you're afraid because your kidneys are afraid. You're, oh no, why do I do that? Oh no, why? You know, go, just do it. Just who cares? Stop asking, right? But if you don't have it in balance and you don't have that warmth to tell you to just do it, you know, then that's how you get out of balance. So make the chew sound. It's really interesting. Stretch your kidneys. You can put your hands on your kidneys and you can breathe into them and just picture it releasing the fear. Imagine ice is melting. You know, imagine you're a bear and you're fearless. Especially like, what did the guy he talked about one time when he was in Antarctica or Alaska, and they were on the river or on the ocean, and they were paddling or they were rowing through the ocean, and they turned a corner, and there was this this Kodiak grizzly bear. Like Kodiak grizzly bears, they get to 25 feet tall. The tallest one ever, like that they have bones of, Kodiak grizzlies, when they stand up, they're 25 feet tall, the biggest one in history. So you want to imagine that you're the biggest grizzly bear, Kodiak bear ever that's ever existed, and everything gets out of your way. So the movement, right? You're wading through water, or you're the way I see it is you're just knocking down trees because you're freaking huge. But you're not afraid of anything. You just roar right in front of their faces, you know, and that will instill that will get it to bubble, and that will call your fire into it, right? But a lot of times, thank you, we separate things. This is why I said earlier that all of the elements are present in your body at all times. You can saturate your entire body in the color blue, and you can feel like you're floating. So if you breathe in, it's called ocean breathing. Look up Michael Wynn. I've mentioned him before. He does ocean breathing and stuff like that, you know. And again, it's all just words on words. There's so many forms out there. What's important is that you focus on yourself. Like I said, like, so people who start Tai Chi or they start Qigong and they say, what should I do first, you know? And the reality is you can do any one of them first, but you need to practice it properly. So instead of us living in a world where we're constantly asking, you know, for it to be done or for the answer, we're asking spirit, you know, which is okay, you know, it's that realization that, and I was mentioning this, I was thinking about this recently, that when you work with the life force and you do Qi and you do Qigong and you're doing this, you're doing that, it's going to go where your intention, Qi flows where your intention goes, right? And I forget the last part. There's one more part to that. But your Qi flows where your attention goes. So if you exhale with like ha out of your body, right away, Qi, pure Qi is going to come and swoop right into that area, and it's going to heal it. It's going to start to heal it because it's going to restore it with all of its natural vibrational, you know, frequencies. This is the importance of making the Choooo sound, right? Because it's going to be weird. Believe me, when I started walking around my house doing monkey movements, I mean, all right, there's a level of getting unembarrassed of what you're doing, even for yourself when no one else is around. It feels really weird, but after a while it becomes really fun. Monkey is like one of my favorites. I would totally be the golden monkey with the staff, and the staff, the bow is my weapon because I'm a Libra, so that's balanced, right? Like, it just makes a lot of sense. Anyways, okay, so make the sound, envision the water, saturate yourself, flow, right? And like I said earlier, what does water need? What is water looking for? It's looking for substance. It's looking, because it can be super thin, you know, it goes through everything. So it's actually looking to be carried, right, by metal. So I guess maybe not so much substance, but a direction, right? What does water need? It needs to flow. So if it has a path, it's going to do great. Water signs need to know they're appreciated. Everyone wants to know they're appreciated, but in that big way, they need to know that their efforts are being seen, are being understood, that they're leading them somewhere, right? Because otherwise, water just has all these emotions and it just sits there and it gets stagnant. What's a lake do, right? It's not constantly refreshing itself. So what does water need? It needs to flow. All things need to flow. So if you're frozen up, it's not going to flow. So use fire, and this is why I'm doing them in this way. I'll probably do the opposites in the next one again, like earth and air. But we'll see, because there's 5 elements. So we'll get into that. But it's kind of interchangeable. You can say there's earth, air, fire, water. They added metal. You know what I mean? So, and not added, that was from their observations in nature. So all of them help and support each other. And it's okay to have a destructive cycle. It's okay, like I said, with water to be destroyed. Because sometimes you need to get over yourself. All of us. Sometimes you need to, you put that flame out. or shut the door on the air and just let it sit in there for a little while because it's going all over the place. Like uh, so it's okay to play, and this is again back to what I'm saying. Know yourself, know thyself, right? And the rest is really easy. Once you pay attention to water outside of yourself and you know the water inside of yourself, that's when you start to communicate with water. Is when you know what you're saying and you know what it's saying, right? It's probably totally vague right now. So how are we gonna do that? Is that loud out there? I'm sorry. That highway is like right there. You can't even hear it when it's shut. I'm still sweating. Bears. Oh, hey, yeah. Cool. So yeah, so make the chew sound. Exhale. And twist your body, and then stretch your kidneys. And you're gonna feel great. It's gonna do wonders. So remember, hibernation, right? Bears. It's all archetypes. Everything is an archetype. So get in touch with your bear that's inside Starseed, and burn away any fear that you, I don't know, or whatever. You can use it both, especially if you're like cusp fire water. Like that's just ridiculous. Like I don't even know what you're gonna do with that. I'm just kidding. You got it all. You can, and again, that's a perfect example because we all have this within us. Like I do, I do them all the time. So the kidneys is the sh sound, sh, which we'll talk about. Maybe we'll do that one next because that's going to be important with fire because the kidneys rises up to your fire. So anger, frustration, and then hatred sits in your fire. Where anger and frustration, your liver's going to go on you. That's why like grumpy people, or they drink and they're grumpy, and liver, it's like it's all of it's connected. So we have all the elements within us. We can use them all at any given time. We have some more than others correlation. Something just made a noise in my closet. What? Alright. Anything? Yeah, I'll end up doing a lot more in depth once I do the movements, but I wanted us to have a basic understanding of these elements as in Taoist theory, I guess. Because they got the whole thing mapped out. It's been like 7,000 years, so they got it pretty well done. And yeah, so I don't know. I think that's it right now for water. Yeah, don't go fearlessly. And then, afraid of the dark. Oh, that's a good point. They're saying dark water. So the color of the kidneys, it's mostly dark. It's like a darker water, almost black. And I think it's, okay, they're saying the reason why is so that you guys will learn to be over your fears and you won't worry about fear. So the fact that it's black and it's unknown, oh my gosh, what do we do, right? And where are your kidneys? They're like the one organ that's kind of like behind you, and you don't notice them, you don't pay attention. So we have to take care of our kidneys like a lot, and we have to not be afraid, because as soon as when you get the way the creation cycle, so it starts with air, and when you exhale your air, it falls down. The spiral of air, right? It's like atmosphere. It's like moving up, it's moving down. So when you do the exercise, it settles down, into your body, and it settles down into your kidneys. And then your kidneys will go to your wood, and then your liver, and then your liver goes to your heart, and your heart goes to your spleen and your stomach, and then it goes back to your lungs again. Because they all support each other, and that's the creation cycle. So if you start with sounds, colors, archetypes, animals, all of it, it'll all just make better sense to you all. Yeah. Start noticing the connections. When people say, I talk with the water. It's not a, you know, it's not like, you know, to the unaware, to the adept or whatever, they don't understand. But it's the relationship that you have. It's, you know, 7,000 years these people have been teaching and doing these things, you know, like they have relationships with the animals, with nature, with everything. They live in monasteries and they don't even have like anything. They don't need anything, you know. As modern society, we tend to overcomplicate, and we tend to need more than we really need, want more than we really need. And I think that's part of the big distraction, you know. You know, there's so much unnecessary fear and things of this that come from your external world and your wants and your desires. Oh, if I don't ever get that, you'll never be happy. I mean, that's really up to you. And so when you turn your attention into your internal world, the external world isn't so hard. It's not so difficult. It's not so problematic. You know what I mean? It's very easy. It's very simple. You know, he said the Tai Chi, the monk, the guy, he tells the story about the journey up the mountain, you know, and he said, well, are you mad that it's raining on the mountain because you didn't expect it to be raining? So it's all about being aware, being present, being, you know, again, knowing yourself, knowing what you can do and what you can't do, and correcting anything, right? There's no wrong practice. It's having the wrong attitude. If you think there's a wrong practice, well, that's an attitude adjustment. You know, it's not the practice that's wrong. If you focus hard, you can do. It's why Tai Chi looks like it's so slow and like nobody's doing anything, but it's the complete opposite of what's actually going on inside of the body of the person. You know, and people are starting to understand this through yoga, right? Holding certain yoga poses, and then you have to breathe in those, and it's like, oh my God, I've never had to breathe while I'm like twisted up like that, you know. It's exactly what Tai Chi is about and where it comes from too. Yeah, so get used to your body. Understand that your body is a portal for information and energy to come through, right? They're not just these solid things. We have to learn to use the energy that is coming into and out of us at all times, whether you realize it or not. And that's what the practice of, you know, Tai Chi and Qigong is. They're moving slow, but they're extremely focused. And that's what it takes to understand your water, your fire. All right, it's getting really loud over there. It's like everybody just went out to the car right now. What's going on? They didn't even hear the car drive up. They just walked out to go to the car. No, I'm just kidding. Got kind of loud there. Yeah, so is that it? Yeah, hey, thanks for chatting, Starseed. Alright, I think that's it. What was I saying? Knowing yourself, know thyself? Yes. Know that you have water inside of you. I mean, we know that, but what does it mean? Right? What is water? You know, on one hand, it's just water. On the other hand, it's life-giving, like, it's water. It gives life to we have this whole planet. Everything needs it, you know? So it's like all of the elements. And don't separate, you know, integrate them all. This isn't about separation. This is about integration. This is about you becoming your highest self. This is about us all coming together to help each other. Excuse me, to be that. To be the, like, you know, because what do they say about, you know, being androgynous or whatever? Like when we were spirit, or before we split into man and woman, that we were androgynous. And so, okay, yeah, sure, that's, sure, okay, maybe that's the goal once we're there, you know what I mean? But it's like everything is already inside of you, like it is, and you can balance it all out, right? But of course, like I'm a male, yeah, well, whatever, so, so know yourself, right? Again, know yourself, right? We can help each other to unlock each other's like gifts, you know what I mean? And support each other in integrating divine masculine and divine feminine, water and fire, into ourselves. That's what this whole thing is about. The rise of the divine feminine and the fall of the divine masculine. It's not about the just like overpowering of it all. It's about the leveling off of it all, and sure, justifiably women need to be on top for a while because men have been mean to them for a long time, and this is true, but all that does is perpetuate the same thing, and then we're in the same place. It's just flipped, it's not really so it's about coming together and restoring these elements and these things within each other and all of our lives. And that's what the videos are for, so hopefully this is helping you guys. But yeah, there's a lot to learn with your body. That's why, like, if you look at Shaolin training, they practice and study for 10 years, like, to become a Buddhist monk. And if they fail, they got to wait another 3 years in order to take the test again, So it's like, and they're devout, like it just blows my mind how, like, modern medicine thinks it's so awesome. It doesn't even have a clue, man. It's like not even close. It's got a clue, but it's not like it's bad or something. But pharmaceutical industry. That's all I'm gonna say. So, yeah, I guess that's it, guys. There's not really anything else. I'm just blabbing at this point. Know thyself. Calm your waters, right? Know that you have all the substance that you need already inside of yourself, because you are still waters run deep. You are the depths of the ocean. You're at the depths of, like, not even I'm trying to think of like other planets, but is it depths? There's water everywhere. There's water on other planets, right? So many water signs come from other water planets. They say that the first humans, this was like a mostly water planet, and and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, find out what that means for you. Find out where your water's at. Where are your emotions? And what are your emotions? So water being receptivity. Don't go too yin. Don't go too helpless or I don't know what to do, or that's yin, that's water. That's water should flow. Water should always know what it's doing or always have a path, right? And that's why it likes metal signs, because metal signs will help focus it. Yeah. And that's why I, as a wood sign, who's all about like growth and creation, I guess, love water, because water is nourishing, you know what I mean? Like it's and that's just look at the creation and destruction cycle of the 5 phases. They're called the 5 phases, but you could just say 5 elements, because that's what Westerners mostly, if you Google that, you'll probably find a lot more than you'd find 5 phases. You'll find 5 phases of like all kinds of systems. It's kind of funny. I looked it up to get a picture, and I was going to put the picture on here, but not yet. We're just doing water. So, okay, guys, I hope that was helpful, and I'm going to let you guys go because nothing else is really coming through, and I will see you guys probably tomorrow morning for a Sunday spiritual session, where we will see who comes by. I already got some topics in mind, but we're going to see what's most important for us all tomorrow morning. See you guys then. Love you guys.